Welcome back to another episode of Work in Progress. Today's episode is for anyone interested in going to graduate school after they finish up their undergraduate degree. If this is something you are considering, keep listening for some helpful tips and tricks for how to go about applying to graduate school. Deciding to go to graduate school is a big decision, and the application process can seem daunting. That's why we at the CCPD want to make sure that we're giving you the best tips and tricks we can to help you go through that process. As a current graduate student myself, I can say that going to graduate school was a great decision for me, but I will also admit that the application process was a lot to go through. So with that being said, let's give you some tips and tricks so that you can navigate the process. If you're considering going to graduate school, the first question you should ask yourself is, should I go to grad school? Now, I know that seems like a silly question, but let's break it down. If you're considering going to graduate school, ask yourself the following questions. Does my intended career path need a second degree? Or do people in my field typically get field experience before they get that second degree? These are all important questions to ask, and you should do your research on your intended career path just so you could see if a degree is even required for that path. If you've made the decision that graduate school is the next step for you, the next thing you'll want to think about is how you can afford it. Like your undergraduate degree, graduate school is not cheap. There are some experiences where you can mitigate the costs. Some experiences will grant you tuition waivers, such as graduate assistantships, research assistantships, and teaching assistantships. These are all things that you can research on a university's website, or you can contact the university directly to see what opportunities they may have. Additionally, there are always scholarship opportunities, and you can see if your current place of employment will sponsor your degree. Like picking where you went to undergrad, you'll want to determine which institution is hosting the best program for you. First, do some research to determine if the program is online or in person, and if it is full-time or part-time. Then, you'll want to look to see if the program is cohort and group-based, or if it is research and individual-based. Next, look at the focus of the program, as well as some of the classes that might be taught. And lastly, you should look to see where the program is taking you. If it's taking you to an area you might not enjoy, then that might not be the program for you. For your application materials, they may vary depending on what graduate school you're applying to, but it is always a good rule of thumb to have things finished sooner rather than later. Typically, most graduate schools will ask you to complete an online form of some kind, as well as send in your official transcript, a personal statement or statement of purpose, letters of recommendation, and your resume or CV. Now, with your official transcript, you may have to request that early, so that's just something to keep in mind. When it comes to asking for letters of recommendation, you'll want to ask for those as early as possible. Especially if you're asking a professor for a letter, they may be a popular professor and have several requests. The earlier you ask them, the more likely they'll have time in their schedule to say yes. Additionally, when it comes to letters of recommendation, something to keep in mind is that you are looking for quality responses. Make sure that you are asking people who can give you a positive, good quality response. Your personal statement should describe who you are, why you're applying, your unique qualifications, and your plans for the future. Some questions to get you started on your personal statement are, what experiences have you had that define who you are today, and why does this program align with your values? These are great questions to get you started, but if you still have questions on how to write a personal statement, you can always sign up for an appointment with us through Clemson JobLink. Just hit the personal statement option. I hope that these tips and tricks for applying to graduate school have helped. If you have any further questions on graduate school or your personal statement, you can always use Clemson JobLink to sign up for an appointment with the Career Center. Just make sure that you select the personal statement or the graduate school option, and we'll be happy to help from there. Good luck on your applications!